Okay, hello. This is a very informal training on the Urgent Shelter Pets marketing team. Everything should be ready to go for us to kind of pilot this program. And so I'm just gonna kind of go through everything really quickly. And hopefully it all makes sense because, yeah, this is really informal and I don't even know if the system's gonna work or not. So, paws crossed. Okay, so here we go. So, the urgent marketing team works closely with local city and county municipal shelters to market dogs and cats at risk of euthanasia, long term stay animals, and then community members' pets needing to be rehomed to avoid them entering the shelter. So, this last part, the rehoming part, we're gonna kind of not worry about that right now. That'll definitely be something we want to do in the future and probably like in the near future. But right now, we're just going to focus on at risk animals and long stay animals. So, pets are going to be posted to both the Urgent Galveston County Shelter Pets Facebook page and our virtual networking board. Super cool. So, I'll show you what both of those look like. Okay. Sorry if you can hear Bogart. My dog is like laying right next to me and he's deciding to like make a lot of sighing noises. So if you're wondering what that is the Bogart. Okay. So this is what it would look like to somebody in the public. We have Adopt, Foster, Rescue. The Urgent Galveston County Shelter Pets page is meant for positive marketing of at-risk and long-term shelter pets. You'll see we have over here the About section. We are not the shelter. Lifeline of Galveston County is a separate nonprofit no-kill rescue organization. We focus on saving the lives of the pets who have not yet been selected by adopters, fosters, or rescues and are facing death in our local shelters. Rules for posting. So I stole this from San Antonio Pets Alive's page. They've had that page for so many years, and so some of the things on here are kind of odd, but I'm assuming they put them there for a reason, so I left them there for a reason, and I am going to go through these pretty quickly just because I think it's important for everybody to know. And kind of also a good overview of how we want to use this page. So obviously this is a sad topic. You know, we're posting animals that are at risk of being euthanized, pets that have been at the shelter for a long time. That being said, we want, like, it's already really sad, right? So like we want this page to be as positive and uplifting as possible. And so we're going to be really specific about the way we post on here and how we post on here and the comments and the things we allow to be posted on here. That being said, we're also going to be really clear about our rules and, you know, what we expect, how we expect people to act on this page. And for me, that makes me feel good because I think as long as we're telling everybody, hey, these are our rules and they're this way for a reason, I think that's still being really transparent and still just making a really good community. So anyway, just rambling, but here are the rules for posting on the urgent page. So we are automatically deleting and blocking comments that are negative in nature or things that we do not allow to be posted on our page. This is not personal. We just need to ensure that the threads remain positive and information that is meant to be public is not posted on our page. We appreciate positive networking and sharing the urgent pets from our page. Please read below for rules on posting on the urgent page. The Urgent Galveston County Shelter Pets page is solely meant to share, pledge, tag rescues, and positively network pets that are long-term or at risk of euthanasia. Comments on urgent threads that will be deleted and can result in inability to post are as follows. 1. Any negative comments that are not encouraging the placement of the urgent pets. 2. Comments that have words kill, die, murder, slaughter, throw away, etc. I know those are really intense words, but yeah, we don't want people talking like that on here. Rants, attacks on owners, and cursing. Examples are piece of shit owners, dumped, left to die. So we know that this is sad. Owner surrenders are sad, but usually this description will say, usually the description will say if the pet was owner surrendered, and that is enough. Comments like this fuel more negativity, which doesn't help the pets. Repeatedly posting negative comments will result in the inability to comment on threads. While these pets are at risk of euthanasia, such comments often rally more negativity and do not help these pets get placed. Comments like this are discouraging to the shelter staff and volunteers who work hard to find these pets placement. Negative comments towards Lifeline or the shelters where the pets are located. Both organizations are trying to get pets placed and have to work endlessly against the high rates of overpopulation in this area. Yeah, so any negative comments towards us or towards shelter or towards staff will be deleted. Spamming photos, GIFs as they clog up the threads. Photos of dead animals or images of indicating dead animals. Threats of any kind. And guys, if there's like really an intense threat, it needs to be, reported to me, reported to the police department. If we see anything crazy like that. And then repeatedly posting the status of animals. Lifeline will update the post for animals who are no longer urgent or are safe. The public should not be posting status updates as you do not have access to the same information that we do, and your posts may confuse the public or be incorrect. Yeah, so we are going to be getting, direct information from the shelter. They'll be telling us, when an animal is adopted, goes into foster, or is transferred or tagged by a rescue. So we'll have that information, and we want to be the ones who are posting that information. We don't want like random volunteers, like shelter volunteers or anything, confusing people. So we'll just delete any comments if somebody continuously is doing that. This is a big one, guys. Shelter medical notes, medical diagnosis, negative temperament information. So I'm just going to read this and then I might talk a little bit more about it. But we believe wholeheartedly in transparency. The reason we do not allow this information to be posted on our Facebook page is because anyone interested in an animal should email us or the shelter directly, where all medical and temperament information will be shared. A pet's medical history is private and should not be shared publicly. There are many reasons why we don't allow this or other details about animals to be shared on the page. It often stirs up issues, miscommunication, and negativity. Having people email for more information allows us to have conversations directly with the inquirer to help them determine if the animal is right for them and answer questions directly if there are medical issues or less desirable behaviors. This prevents animals from being labeled and skipped over. This also prevents people from taking information out of context and creating negativity on our page or through emails. Yeah, so this is a big one. This page is really meant to positively network animals, and that's not to say that we're trying to trick people into taking animals that are sick or have behavior issues. Actually, the opposite. We absolutely don't want to be doing that. However, this page is a marketing page, right? And those issues are things that need to be reserved for counseling, either adoption or foster counseling, or communicated directly 1v1 with the rescue group. And the reason for that is these behaviors are very specific to each animal, and these medical diagnoses are very specific to each animal. And so when we're just blindly throwing them on a Facebook page for anybody to interpret however they want, it can actually really negatively impact the animal. And a lot of these animals, there's a reason that they're on this page. So we don't want to give anybody fuel to overlook them. So it's better to market them, get somebody interested in them, and then, when they reach out for a little bit more information, that's when we share, the behavioral stuff and the medical stuff, where we can actually have that one-on-one conversation and, explain the behavior and medical, a little bit better. So that's the reason for that. Lifeline of Galveston County is not a city or county municipal shelter. We are a no-kill rescue that helps find placement for animals at risk of euthanasia in our county. Lifeline has the ability to turn off commenting on our urgents page altogether, but we chose to allow people to post positive marketing, the sharing of photos and videos, pledging, and for rescue partners to engage with possible fosters and collect pledges. Okay, yep, and you're going to see this a lot. This is something that we have to always kind of remind everyone of, both for us and for the shelter. So it's really important to the shelter that we keep, to the shelters that we kind of keep ourselves separate. And then also, Lifeline is a no-kill, technically is like a no-kill rescue. And so we just want everybody to kind of know that separation. Okay. Now that's our Facebook page and our virtual networking page. I'm really excited about this one. So this is actually on the Lifeline website under Urgent Galveston County Shelter Pets. So it's a little bit about the program. This is like the same thing that was listed on the Facebook page. And then guys, this is so cool. Maybe it's just cool to me. But I know there's no animals on here right now, but all the animals will be listed on this board for people to see, which is pretty cool. That'll take everybody to the Facebook page. These are just some frequently asked questions, and then these are the rules I just read out. They're also on here as well. So this team should have, the goal would eventually be to have like 3 to 5 volunteers and 2 to 3 volunteers splitting shifts in person at the shelter, approximately 2 to 3 hours. And then the goal would be that there's volunteers present at the shelter Monday through Saturday. Obviously, that's not going to be the case in the beginning. It might just be 1 or 2 days a week, but hopefully the goal would be as we have more volunteers, we might have a volunteer who could go twice a week, or just something like that. So it is important to note, in-person volunteers are required to attend both the shelter volunteer orientation, abide by all the shelter volunteer rules and guidelines, as well as Lifeline volunteer rules and guidelines, and they have to go through this training. Okay, and then the virtual volunteers, 2 to 3 volunteers split shifts. This is a remote position. You don't actually have to be on site at the shelter. You can do this from home. All you need is access to a computer or laptop and Wi-Fi. It would be great to have somebody checking in on this Monday through Saturday and just making sure that, the animals are posted as quickly as possible. So, okay, primary documents. Yep, we'll start with this one. Okay, so this is just the code of conduct for on-site and virtual volunteers. We have to respect that we are working with the municipal shelter. They don't have to work with us. They don't have to share this information with us. And it's important that we're being respectful of the fact that they're working with us. And we want to keep it a very mutually positive and respectful relationship. So it's just important to follow these code of conduct stuff. So support the mission and goals and efforts of Lifeline and our municipal shelters and partners with a positive and cooperative attitude. Exercise caution and common sense when dealing with animals. Yep, try to just be smart. Promote goodwill by handling contact with shelter staff, volunteers, and visitors in a spirit of respect, courtesy, and cooperation. Correct when possible misleading, inaccurate information or representations made by others concerning our municipal shelter partners, policies, practices, and procedures. Yeah, we gotta protect our municipal shelters a little bit. They get a bad rap. Oftentimes they're doing the best they can. And so we're really their partner here. We're their partner. We're not against them at all. So we want to, protect them as our partner. And then we want to maintain conduct that is positive when communicating with the public, promote respect and cooperation during public meetings and in media interactions, be honest and transparent with the public, and never knowingly misrepresent an animal's age, medical condition, and or temperament to anyone. So I know I kind of talked about in the rules how we don't post any negative we don't publicly post any like negative behaviors or medical stuff. That being said, once it gets to the next level and either somebody reaches out to us for more information on that pet or they reach out to the shelter, all of the information we have on the pet needs to be communicated. So, yeah, that's important to know. We are not trying to trick anybody, and we are not trying to not share any information with anybody. We're just very, what's the word? We're just very, we share. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like literally 2:15 in the morning when I'm recording this, so my brain's a little fried. But I just wanted to get it done. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we are always going to share all of the information, but we might just have to be, very timely in how we share it. Okay, and then behave in a positive, courteous manner. Communicate directly with municipal shelter management on any issues or concerns that are noted within the shelter. That's really important. So if you have an issue with something going on in the shelter, please communicate directly with the management. And yeah, don't like share it at all on social media or, badmouth the shelter or anything. We really want to have an open and honest and transparent relationship. We do have that with the shelter now, and that's something that we want to continue to have. Okay, and then adhere to all municipal shelter safety guidelines, sign in at the front desk, and do not enter areas in the shelter marked authorized personnel only without approval from municipal shelter management. Yep, Lifeline and our municipal shelter partners promote communication that is respectful, honest, and direct. Understanding that there are different philosophies, opinions, and views, it is essential that we treat one another with respect and dignity and be accountable for standards of transparency and disclosure. We embrace ethical communication and respectful public discussion and oppose efforts that encourage threats, hateful or derogatory language, and mistruths. These behaviors are unprofessional, divisive, and harmful to the collective mission. And it really is a collective mission. We're all working together to make Galveston County no kill. We're really going in the right direction. This doesn't have to be painful. I mean, I know like we're dealing with some heavy topics, but we can have a really open and transparent and positive relationship with the shelters we work with. That's the goal. Okay. Perfect. Moving right along, so the on-site volunteer animal submission form, which can be reached at this short link here, bit.ly/urgentgcpets. So this is the form on-site volunteers will complete for each urgent or long-term pet in need of networking. So you can actually open this right on your phone, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, you can open this right on your phone. You can go into a yard with a dog, or be in a cat room and pull this form out and complete it, take pictures and upload the pictures right into the form right through your phone, and it'll upload into our Airtable Workspace and be really, really easy for our virtual volunteers to work with and get posted on our virtual networking board. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And then we have our Airtable Workspace. So Airtable is where we do all our communications. My favorite way to describe Airtable is it is Google Spreadsheets or Spreadsheets, Excel on steroids. There's just more shit you can do with it. Sorry for cussing. Again, it's like 2 in the morning. Okay. Since we are all working from different locations, it provides a shared virtual workspace for all of us to work and communicate with one another. So I'll show you what this looks like. Here we go. So this is our internal view. This is the public view. So there's certain fields that the public won't be able to see, but we'll be able to see on the internal view. We'll look at that in a little bit. Spreadsheet view. You will really, unless you just like looking at it in a spreadsheet form, you really won't need to look at this too much. I think the cards are just easier, but I'll show you guys all of that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Cool. And then this, I'm not going to read through all of this because it's just a lot of information and kind of boring. But this is almost just like a, like your manual. It has, if you have a question, come into this. If you don't know what one of these things mean, come back to this protocol and read the description, and hopefully it'll tell you what you need to know. So I'm going to skip through all of this because we're going to kind of go through it. Yep, okay. So we'll start with our on-site volunteer duties, kind of what they'll be doing when they get to the shelter. So first of all, the onboarding. These are the steps an on-site volunteer must complete before volunteering on the team. 1, they want to complete Lifeline's urgent marketing team training video. This is the video you're watching right now. And then they're going to want to complete the municipal shelters volunteer training and sign all of the municipal shelters waivers if they haven't done so already. And then, when we actually have, more volunteers doing this, we want any new volunteer to come on and do at least 2 shifts with the current volunteer. Shift checklist. You want to sign into the shelter, and complete any necessary sign-in procedures implemented by the municipal shelter you're working in that day. And then you're going to want to acquire the length of stay report and the urgent list from shelter management. We're working on getting this together with ARC right now. They should have a report that can be pulled that day that lists most of the information that you're going to need to do your assessment, like heartworm statuses and any medical notes they might have, and all of that good stuff. So using the list provided by the shelter, you're going to start pulling pets out of their kennels to complete your assessments and take photos and videos. And I didn't even put in here. You're going to use up here, we're going to use this form. So let me get this down here too, so it's easy. We'll just put it there. Okay, and I'm going to open this up and we're going to do one here in a second, but I do want to just go over all of this. So notes about illness, disease transmission, pets in stray hold buildings especially, you should be examining them for illness before you're pulling them out into a community yard. So if they have really runny noses with green discharge, if they're really coughing, they had bad diarrhea especially, you're probably going to want to ask shelter staff, especially like Jamie or the medical staff, if it's okay to pull that animal into a community yard, or if it might be better to just take pictures of that animal in their kennel. We really do want to be careful about disease transmission. It's a really real thing in shelters, and we don't want to be getting any of the healthy animals sick because we're pulling out ill animals and putting them into like common spaces. This is also goes for cats. So if you're, working with a cat in a stray area, please make sure they're not sick before, pulling them into one of the get acquainted rooms and adoption floor, because we definitely don't want to get like all the adoption cats sick. So that's just an important note. And then kind of going off of that, if you notice a pet exhibiting any signs of injury or illness and you don't see it notated on like their chart, you want to be sure to notate it and then share that with the shelter medical staff or management before you leave the shelter for that day. And then also, if you notice a pet exhibiting major medical symptoms, like they're actively bleeding, they have extreme lethargy, or they're having seizures or like something like that, you want to immediately stop what you're doing and get shelter medical staff immediately to address the situation. Again, this is all in open communication. We just want to be communicating, and just having that really good open line of communication. Puppies, so puppies under 8 weeks and puppies who have not been vaccinated, you really want to be careful about pulling them into a shared yard. Parvo is a very real thing in Texas, and they're much higher risk of catching dangerous communicable diseases. So it might be better to take pictures of them in baskets. So like it sounds kind of weird, but you know the shelter like ARC has like little baskets that you can put a freshly cleaned blanket in, and then put the puppy in the blanket and then take a picture that way, as opposed to bringing them into like a shared community yard, or you can just take pictures of them in the kennel. Then notes about behavior: if you don't feel comfortable pulling an animal out, don't do it. Ask a shelter staff for help. If you really, if they can't do it, skip them. Send an email to me describing the behavior. And then you should also be sharing that behavior to the shelter management. The reason I want to know, I might not necessarily be able to do anything about it, but it's just something that I'd like to be aware of, because if that's like a thing that's happening a lot, then that's something that we want to maybe create a program for, or start thinking about creating a program for. So I just want to know, if there's an animal that we're not even able to get out of the kennel. So, okay. Yep, so now I'll kind of show you what you'll go through. So again, you can pull this form up on your phone, laptop, or like an iPad, anything with Wi-Fi access. So safety reminders: you want to be wearing pants, closed-toed shoes, and at least a short-sleeve shirt when you're volunteering at the shelter, because your legs can get scratched up. A lot of the dog's nails aren't cut and that kind of thing, so it's just a shelter requirement. If you don't feel comfortable, yep, we already talked about that. And then this is an important thing: we want to be careful about how we're wording things. So we should only be describing medical conditions and behaviors, not diagnosing them. The only people who can this is a really big thing, the only people who can diagnose medical conditions are licensed veterinarians. So you cannot say, I, Caroline McKenna, am not a licensed veterinarian. I cannot say this dog has Demodex mange. I can say I suspect this dog has Demodex mange, but I haven't done any, for one, the animal hasn't actually been tested for anything like that. And also, I'm not licensed to make those diagnoses. So it's an important thing to know. So you have examples of correct descriptions. So really the important thing to remember is you should just be describing exactly what you see, not trying to diagnose. And this is also similar for behavior as well. So correct descriptions would be: the dog did well in a yard with another dog at the shelter. This dog has done great in playgroup with lots of other dogs with a range of personalities. This dog did well in a home with another medium-sized dog. This puppy has lots of hair loss. I suspect it is Demodex. I attached a picture. This cat is not putting weight on its back right leg. I attached a video. I'm not saying this cat's leg's broken. I don't know that. I'm not a vet. I didn't do an x-ray. So yeah, you don't want to be saying that. And incorrect descriptions: this dog is great with other dogs. So it doesn't matter if the dog has been introduced to 30 dogs at the shelter and they've done great with all of them. There's no way to know for sure if a dog will do well with all other dogs, especially when you start adding things like territory into the mix. It can just throw everything off. So it's better to just describe exactly what the pets, kids, people, the dog has gotten along with. So just describe it exactly. You can say the dog has done well with every dog it has met at the shelter. That's an okay thing to say. This dog is great with other dogs, with all other dogs is not something we want to say. And then this dog has Demodex, a broken leg, etc. Again, don't want to beat a dead horse, but the only person who can diagnose is a licensed veterinarian. Okay, so yep, this is kind of, or you're just going to do a fake animal. Oh. Okay, yep, so we're going to we're just going to walk through completing one of these forms. So you would be, pulling maybe the dog out of the kennel, getting them into the yard, and then opening this on your phone and completing it. So I pulled up Mr. Petey here. So I'm pulling his stuff from Pet Harbor, but you would be pulling this in the yard. So we have the ID number, the shelter intake date, August 30. Oh, poor guy. August 30th, 2021. Jeez. Dang. Yeah, that's such a long time. So there we go. Intake type. I don't know for sure. So it doesn't say on there, but it will say on their kennel card. So I'm just gonna put stray. You would attach a picture of his kennel card here. Shelter location is Galveston County. Reason for submission. I know his behavior's been an issue. And then, space is also an issue. His name is Petey. His estimated age is 1 year, 4 months. So I'm going to put 1.5 years. He's a dog. He's a neutered male. His estimated weight, I don't think it says on there. I'm going to say his estimated weight is 55 pounds. This is an estimate. Heartworm status. I actually don't know. This will be something that should be listed on the report provided by the shelter. Select adjectives. So again, you'll be watching the dog in the yard and picking some of these. I kind of know Petey, so high energy. I don't know if he's street motivated. That'd be something good to know. Suspect potty trained, keeps kennel clean and tries to hold it. This is just something good to notate. I think you can kind of tell with some dogs, you're like, oh yeah, they're probably kind of potty trained because, yeah, they hold it and the first thing they do when they get into the yard is, go to the bathroom. So that's a good thing to notate if you notice it. Photos. Yep, so this is, you'll actually be able to upload photos and videos again right from the yard. And you should be able to upload them right into the sheet. So I'm going to do P. Okay. And you can do you can upload as many as you want. So upload, you could attach another one, you could add a bunch of photos. Videos, I know we have videos of him, so yeah, we would upload him here, same way, you just attach the file. What is your favorite physical trait about this animal? You don't have to spend a lot of time on this, just something that pops up. I think his cute little nose thing, I just love the spots on his nose. And then favorite personality trait. Medical notes from the shelter. So this will be listed on the report that you get if there are any. This should literally be written, in their shelter chart. That's where you would write notes here. And then medical observations are things that you don't see in the medical chart, but that you notice. And so you'll write those down here. And then again, if they're not in the chart, then that's something you should share with the shelter before leaving for that day. Tested with other dogs, select all that apply. So we know that he has done well at the shelter with other dogs. And he hasn't been tested with cats. He hasn't been tested with kids. Behavioral notes. Okay, so this is important. This is not going to be front-facing, but these are just things that are good to know, that are just good for us to know. So We know he has trouble getting out of the kennel because he gets so excited. And we know he doesn't show well in the kennel because he is always bouncing around. Those are just good things for us to know because, you know, we may be able to like market him better or just mention that, you know, like if we post him on the page, right, and we say all this stuff and then someone's like, oh my god, I'm interested in meeting Petey, and you know we start telling them more and more stuff about Petey, you know, we might mention to them and just say, hey, you know, we do know, like, volunteers have told us he's been in the shelter for like frickin' how many months, and he kind of bounces off the walls in the shelter to keep himself occupied, but once he gets out of the shelter, we know he's super chill. Anyway, so yeah, those are just good things to note. And who's submitting this? It's gonna be me. Yep. Okay, you're gonna hit submit. Now let's see what magically happens. Okay. Look at it! There's Petey. So as soon as you submit this form, it's going to pop up on our Kanban board and be viewable to our volunteers who are back at home. And so they're going to be able to open up this. I'm going to go back to our protocol so I can show everybody. Yeah, so the on-site volunteer will just be just continue filling out forms. You know, it goes right back to a blank form, and they'll just keep filling out forms for the animals, and they'll start popping up over here. So that brings us to our virtual volunteers. So very similar, for onboarding, they have to complete this training video and then hopefully complete at least one shift with a trained volunteer. Shift checklist, they're going to get into Airtable, they're going to open their card, they're going to open open cards in the uncategorized tab, and so these are the pets that have recently been submitted by on-site volunteers. So they're going to open their card and verify all the information looks correct. They're going to fill in any missing information and ensure that all the public-facing fields only have positive marketing information listed. And yeah, so we just have similar things written down here just as reminders. So the big thing is they're going to be creating an animal summary. So this is a short positive summary of all the pet strengths, just in a nice summary, and then this is what's going to be posted on the Facebook page. So there we go. We're going to open up Petey. So the big thing is you want to change the status, because that's what's actually going to show. When you change the status, they're going to launch onto the public facing page. So it's important to select this. So we know he needs urgent placement. We're going to post him on Facebook. So animal summary, after we look through this card, we're going to come back up here and write a summary for him. So we'll see all the photos and the videos that the on-site volunteer took. We'll hopefully see the kennel card. So yeah, he's been at the shelter for 240 days. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So we didn't see on here, but what will auto-populate in this form, here we go. So when you click owner surrender, excuse me, as you get down here, you'll see this will pop up. there'll be a section to attach any owner surrender behavioral report that might have been submitted to the shelter. And then also you can write notes from previous owner or foster, and also any positive notes from a previous owner or foster, or a day trip listed here. So I'm actually gonna I'm gonna have this show no matter what, because I think that would be good for all animals to have that. But anyway, I'll update that. So we'll go back to Petey. So if he was an owner surrender, you know, these might be filled, but he wasn't. So we got all of this stuff. We're just kind of looking at everything. Heartworm status is unknown. Okay. So we're just reading all of this. Okay, and then so this is cool. It'll actually show, and this is just for internal use. The public won't be able to see any of this, but you can see that I submitted this. It has my phone number, and the reason for that is so if the at-home volunteer has any questions, they can reach out directly to the volunteer who completed the form and ask them. Yeah, it's super freaking late. Okay, so the animal summary, again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can be as creative as you want, but you really just want to kind of incorporate all of the pet strengths and all of kind of the little heartstring things that you can think of into one post. So I might say, poor Petey has been stuck at the shelter for over 230 days. He is such a smart boy. He has gotten along with both male and female dogs in playgroup. In fact, we think he would do well in a home with, we think he might do well in a home with another active dog. So you'll see what I said here. So I still kind of mentioned, you know, he might do good with another dog, but I wasn't like, he will for sure do well with another dog, right? So that's like just the wording thing. In fact, so I said, in fact, we think he might do well in a home with another active dog. Petey is a volunteer favorite. He has been on a few breaks from the shelter and has really enjoyed nap time and sunbathing. Anyway, so I don't know, I might write more than this, but this is just kind of an example. Oh, I forgot to add, you want to always add poor PD, you want to have their ID number. 2, 7, 6. So you'll write your summary, then you're going to put, you always want to have where they're located. PD is, you know, at risk. Please contact the shelter ASAP if you can foster, adopt, or pull him into your rescue group. So we always want to put location. PD is located at the Galveston County Animal Resource Center. located at 3412 25th North, Texas City. And if you don't know this information, so they'll be able to access this if they're looking through like the virtual board. But you can access all of this for your Facebook post. So yeah, we might put in the phone number maybe. So we're gonna put please stop by to meet him during shelter hours. We're gonna put Tuesday, Thursday, 12 to 6. And then we have Wednesday, Friday, 12 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 5. Okay, the big thing that we're going to put at the bottom of every post, which I have down here, and I didn't even look at this. Okay, so we had the good picture, animal ID, animal summary, sex. Yeah, so we wanted, oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to say PD is a neutered male, approximately 1.5 years old, approximately 50 pounds. So that's just, all of this is just good information. It's, a lot of people want to know it. It's really good for rescue groups too to know, so we're just going to write it all out. He's located at the Galveston County Resource Center, located here. Please stop by to meet him during shelter hours. You can also inquire about PD by calling the shelter or emailing them, and then our disclaimer, which you can just copy and paste. So please note all that good stuff. Okay, cool. Awesome. We did change the status, and so now what you'll see is on our public view, he's also there. Let me show you this though. So we have our internal view. You can see we have these internal notes, kind of some of the stuff, the not so good stuff about PD. But when we go to our public view, he is there, and that stuff is not listed. And I'll show you what else is listed. So they can't change any of this, but they can read all of it. Or a rescue group or anybody who comes to this page. They can access all his pictures and download them. If he had videos, download them. They have the shelter location. Oh, right. Yeah, it doesn't show. I need to figure out how to change that. Anyway, shelter intake date, the number of days at the shelter, all of this information. So I do also have here heartworm status, and then I have, this will pop up on the public facing on any dog. So wait, is this dog heartworm positive? Don't scroll away. So if they click on this, there's like this whole page on adopting a heartworm positive dog. Combo test, there's a whole thing on adopting an FIV positive cat. favorite personality trait, tested with dogs, so all of this. And then we have learn about rescue, learn about fostering, learn about adopting. So they can always click on this. When they come here, it literally has everything they need to know. It has the location of the shelter, phone number, email, to tag, all of this stuff. It tells them exactly what they need to do to tag, exactly the tagging protocol, what's a rescue group. It has all of the information, it has the rescue application for them to download. Fostering. Talks all about fostering. Adopting. Talks all about adopting. Okay. So there we go. So now PD's listed on there for everybody to see. The next thing we would do is go to our urgent Facebook page and we would create our post. So we would upload our pictures and videos of PD, and then we come back over here, copy this, and paste. We put all of our pictures of them, and we would post. Okay. So we have posts should be scheduled so that there is at least a 2-hour window between each pet. Yeah, this is just something that I've learned. If we try to post like 4 dogs back to back, it'll bury it and it won't actually show the post to anybody. So it is important to schedule posts. If you don't know how to do that, this little article walks you through it. I can kind of briefly show you. You can go over here to Planner, and it'll actually show you nothing's scheduled yet, but it'll show you all of the things that are scheduled. You can create a post, do everything here, blah, 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 and then you can actually come over here, open it up, and schedule. So I'm just gonna like show you, and then do schedule post, and you can schedule it out and look at the planner and make sure nothing else is scheduled at that time. Doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure there's at least a 2-hour window in between each pet that's being shared. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, once you posted, okay, right. So once you have posted the pet or scheduled their post, you want to update what marketing stuff has been done. This is only shown on the internal view. So, yep, we have posted on Facebook 1 time. If we post them a 2nd time, we would add it there. Okay. Respond to comments and messages as needed. So we do have automated message responses set up through Facebook Messenger, directing people to virtual networking board. Yeah, so I do have it set up. So I wonder if I do it on here, so it'll show. Okay, yeah, I kind of messaged it. So, yeah, so I'll show you. This is, I just did like a test. Let's see if I do a test again. Okay, it didn't do it. Perfect. So as soon as, if somebody messages this page, this response will just automatically go back to them. It says, "Hi, thanks for contacting us. We received your message and appreciate you reaching out. We are run 100% by volunteers. If you're reaching out because you need more information on a pet, please go here and find the card on our virtual networking board. This card will list all the information we have on the pet, along with more specific info for fostering, adopting, or pulling the pet into your rescue." This brings them to the page. Okay. Yes, awesome. Cool. And then the last thing, we do have a email address for this as well. So you'll want to also check in on the email and see if there's anything you need to respond to. I also have the email set up to automatically respond to all emails and kind of honestly try to answer as many questions automatically without y'all having to do much. And then it also does say on that email, so I'll kind of show you. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, so this is what the email looks like. It is placement@lifelinetx.org. So whenever you send an email, this will automatically be your signature. So we have, like I said, the disclaimer on everything. And then also we are all volunteers. We will try to respond to you as quickly as we can, but we all have other jobs, lives, families. Please be patient with us. If you are reaching out about a specific animal, please contact the shelter where they are located. You can find this information in the pets card on our virtual networking board. Again, so we try to link everything back to the board, and we try to have as many resources for people to figure all this information out on their own, so we don't have to feel like we need to be tied to the computer. Okay. Yeah, that's everything. So that is our urgent shelter networking protocol, and I'm so excited to get it out and started and just get it, rocking and rolling, and hopefully it works. I'm sure, we'll have to adjust things as we go, and that's totally cool. That's just how it goes. But I'm really hopeful, and I hope that I hope that this system can be just really effective. Okay, thanks so much for watching.